pagbati na may ngiti sa aking mga labi. Naghahanap ba kayo ng makakatuwang sa pagre-review ng inyong anak? Meron yan sa DepEd. Ang ETUlay online tutorial ay libre at handog ng ating kagawaran sa pangunguna ng OUA ICTS EdTech. Ito ay isang proyektong makatutulong sa mga mag-aaral, katuwang ang mga magulang o kasama sa kani-kanilang tahanan para masagutan at maunawaan ang mga modules. Hangad din ng programang ETUlay ang matulungan ang ating mga guro sa kanilang mga blended learning classes. Ang ating ETUlay ay mula kinder hanggang senior high school. Bukod sa academics, meron din tayong mga special programs gaya ng All is Wellness, Reading and Math Remediation, Storytelling, Mommy Tech Talks, Classes sa Gramatika, Speech Class, Financial Literacy, at marami pang iba. Pinalawig din ng ETUlay ang ating Alive program para sa mga mag-aaral mula grade 1 hanggang grade 3. Gayun din ay mayroon tayong ALS program at SPED tutorials na makasisigurong makakamit ng lahat ang inclusive education. May SPED hotline na rin para sa inyong mga katanungan patungkol sa special education. Kaya, subaybayan mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, mula 9:00 ng umaga hanggang 7:00 ng gabi ang ating ETUlay. Sa ating pagtutulungan, maiaangat natin ang bawat isa. Ating itutulay ang pagkatuto upang di mapigil ang pag-aaral ng kabataang Pilipino. Itulay natin ito, sulong edukalidad.
Mabuhay! Good day to all! I am your tutor Madge. Welcome to ETUlay, a free online tutorial, an initiative of the Department of Education, Information and Communications Technology Service, Educational Technology Unit, ICTS EdTech. This program is aimed at helping and assisting learners from kindergarten, senior high school, ALS, Alive, and SPED learners. Aside from answering the modules, the ETUlay is offering programs which you will surely look forward to. Together with our parents and teachers, the ETUlay will bridge the gaps where difficulty and ease meet in learning new knowledge and skills. So, let us prepare our modules, pen and paper. Ready your mind to see and hear worthwhile and interesting lessons. Let us now study and learn, together with our volunteer online tutors. Tara na!
Great afternoon, Math Terrific 9 students! Welcome again to our Week 5. Magandang hapon sa Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. Kasama ng ating mga kaguruan, ng ating mga nanay at tatay, ng ating mga guardian at ng mga estudyante. Ayan, so magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Bumati muna tayo. Great afternoon po from Grade 9 Marigold Deparo High School. Hello po sa inyo. Great morning watching from Deparo High School. Ayan, sa aking mother school, Deparo High School. Hello po sa inyo. Great afternoon from Etiulay West District. Ayan, talagang every week nandyan ang school na yan. SDO Cagayan. Hello, Mark Brian. Hello, good afternoon po from 9 Bougainvillea, Crystal May Reca Franca. Hello, Crystal. And then we have here from listening and learning from LFG, Diamantina National High School, Kabatuan. Hello, Kabatuan Isabela. Naimbag nga aldaw kanyayo amin. Ayan, hello po sa inyong lahat. Inuulit po natin, ETUlay online tutorial para sa lahat. Kaya naman, i-like and i-share na po para hindi lang kayo ang natututo. Kasama na rin ang inyong mga kaibigan at kaklase. Ayan, good afternoon 9 Daisy Deparo High School. Hello, Carl Lexus Harry Castillo. Ayan, magsimula na tayo. Okay, let me share my screen. Inuulit natin, nandito na tayo ngayon sa ETUlay Online Tutorial Math 9. Kasama ang inyong Tutor Angenique, at si Tutor Janet, ang ating fairy godmother. Ayan, so nagpapasalamat tayo sa Pasay para sa pagpapahiram ng kanilang modules na ating ginagamit ngayon. Okay, so every Friday, tumutok every 3 p.m. to 3:40 p.m. Saan mapapanood? Live na live, DepEd EdTech Unit, DepEd tayo, DepEd Philippines, DepEd EdTech, at DepEd TV YouTube channel. Okay? Ang ating lesson for today, Quarter 1, Week 5, ay Illustrating and Solving Quadratic Inequalities. So these are our objectives. At the end of the session, you will be able to, number 1, illustrate and solve quadratic inequalities in one variable. And then second, you will be able to solve word problems involving quadratic inequalities. Okay, let's start. Yan, para mas matagal ang ating discussion. Huwag kalimutang i-like and i-share. Dapat meron tayong sharer badge, ha? And for you to have other examples of problems that can be solved using quadratic inequalities, please watch episodes 9 and 10 of Sir Prince Andrew via DepEd TV YouTube channel. It is all about illustrating and solving word problems involving quadratic inequalities. Ayan, so makikita nyo yung link or pwede rin kayong tumungo sa ating YouTube channel, DepEd TV. Okay. Let's have this one. Okay, activity. Number 1. First one, identify the inequalities from the set of mathematical sentences given below. Ayan, so meron tayong mathematical sentences. Ano kaya dyan ang ating quadratic inequalities? Okay, inuulit natin ha. Alin sa mathematical sentences ang inequalities or quadratic inequalities? Ayan, so tignan nga natin sa ating mga viewers, live viewers. Lagyan natin ng letter para mas mabilis. So letter A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. Alin kaya dyan? Ilagay lamang ang letra na kung saan ito ay quadratic inequality. Ano kaya ang quadratic inequality? So habang kayo ay nag-iisip, bati muna tayo. Watching and listening from Itiagay West District. Ayan, very supportive talaga. From Doña Magdalena High School, Gapod High, Hudson. Okay, Hudson Mike Kakal. Hello. Glenjoy S. Ibanez, watching from Davao City. Hello po sa inyo dyan. Gustong-gusto ko ring makarating dyan sa Davao City. Okay, so tignan nga natin kung meron ng mga sagot. Yan. So, ang ating quadratic inequalities, sabi ni Sarah Jane Desa, A, letter A, letter D, letter E, and letter F. Ayan, very good. Yan ang ating mga quadratic inequalities. Bakit kaya sila natawag na quadratic inequalities? Because of the symbol, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than, and then less than. So the rest, natawag nating equation. Alright, very good, Sarah Jane Desa. Ilagay natin ang ating school and ang ating place. Yan, para ma-recognize naman. Next. So tandaan, when you say quadratic inequality, it is an inequality that contains a polynomial of degree 2 and can be written in any of the following forms. Tandaan, pag sinabi mong quadratic inequality, hindi lang dapat may symbol. Dapat yung kanyang degree ay 2. The highest exponent is 2. So we have here ax squared plus bx plus c greater than 0. Ayan, tama. Ax squared plus bx plus c less than 0. Or we can say ax squared plus bx plus c greater than or equal to 0. Or ax squared plus bx plus c less than or equal to 0. So yan, makikita natin yung symbol kasama na rin ng ating highest exponent or highest degree, which is 2. And then tandaan, ang a, b, and c are all a, which is the coefficient of the quadratic term, b, the coefficient of the linear term, and c is the constant. Are all real numbers or element of real numbers, and a should not be equal to 0. Ayan! Watching live from Lalion National High School, SDO Cagayan. Hello po sa inyong lahat dyan. So, inuulit natin. Habang tayo ay nagkakaroon ng mga learning tasks, huwag kalimutang i-share sa ating mga kaklase. Yan, para ma-remind tayo kung paano ba sagutan o kung paano ba talakayin ang quadratic inequality. Maaari ding manood si ate, kuya, at ating mga guardian at nanay at tatay. Let's have the learning task number 1. Find the solution set of each of the following quadratic inequalities, then graph. Yan, mahalagang i-graph para malaman natin at ma-visualize natin nasaan ba yung ating solution set. Let's have the first one. X squared plus 2x minus 8 greater than or equal to 0. So, paano nga ba sagutan ang quadratic inequality? Okay, so we have the second example, x squared minus 9 less than or equal to 0. So, maaari na kayong sumagot ha sa ating mga grade 9 students, math terrific students. Maaari kayong sumagot. Number 1. Ayan. Okay, first, let's convert or let's use quadratic equation to solve the values of x. Ayan. Solve the equation. Gamitin muna natin ang quadratic equation. X squared plus 2x minus 8 equals 0. Yan. So, gawin muna natin equal sign. Okay? Then, you can solve this one using factoring, quadratic formula, but the easiest way is by factoring. Yes, quadratic pa rin po tayo, Tutor Angelique. Ayan, para po tayong heart. Ayan na naman si Alexander, ano? Okay. Next, so again, we can factor. Always remember, if it's negative 8, and then ang middle term natin ay positive 2, then hanap tayo ng factors na kung saan ang sum ay positive 2. So we have positive 4 times negative 2. Ayan. So tinuro na natin last time. Nire-review lang natin. So the factors are quantity x plus 4 times quantity x minus 2 equals 0. Yan. Next, so we can solve the values of x using zero product property. So ano ang value ng x? We have negative 4 and positive 2. Pero hindi dyan nagtatapos. Kailangan nating i-test yung values. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin kaagad that the values of x is greater than or equal to negative 4. Di ba? Hindi po pwede kaagad yan. Or x is greater than or equal to positive 2. We should test. Kinakailangan nating i-test yan. Okay? Ayan. So, ito yung first step ha. Ano yung first step? Solve the values of x using the concept of solving quadratic equation. Yan. Next. After that, you plot the points corresponding to negative 4 and 2 on the number line. At natin. So we have here negative 4. Ayan, x is less than or equal to negative 4 po pala. Ayan, sumasagot na kagad sila. Very good, oh. Alexander na naman. Yan, Alexander Florante. X is less than or equal to negative 4 and x is greater than or equal to 2. Aba, na-check niya na kagad, ha? Plot the points. So, we have here negative 4 and positive 2. And then, these two numbers, negative 4 and 2, divide the number line into 3 regions. So, meron tayong 3 regions. We have here the first region. Okay. And then, the second region, itong nasa gitna. no? From negative infinity until negative 4. Okay? Or we can say, pwede nating itest yung between negative infinity to negative 4, negative 4, between negative 4 until positive 2, and then between positive 2 and positive infinity. So, meron tayong tatlong region. Okay, sandali. Yan. So, palitan lang natin ng color, yung gitna. Ayan. So, ito naman yung pangatlong region. Okay? So, inuulit natin, kailangan nating i-test. Okay? Kung ano nga ba yung solution set. So, iti-test natin dito sa left side, sa gitna, at dun sa right side. Pipili lang tayo ng numbers less than negative 4, between negative 4 and 2, and greater than positive 2. Okay? So, the three intervals are, sa paggawa ng interval, laging tatandaan, you have to go in the left side, middle, and in the right side. Yan. So, ito yung interval. Tandaan, hindi po pwedeng greater than negative, x is greater than negative infinity but less than or equal to negative 4. No? Dahil hindi included si negative infinity. Okay. Next, we also have x is greater than negative 4 but less than positive 2. Ayan. Alright? And the other interval, x is greater than 2, greater than or equal to 2, but less than positive infinity. So, tandaan natin ha, from this point to the negative infinity, palitan natin ng color para ma-emphasize. And then 4 until 2, so in between lang yan. Yan, dito tayo. So, I hope naiintindihan. Actually, meron na. Tama si Tutor Angenique. Yan, dapat itest ng maigi para sure na sure tayo. Yan, tama talaga, no? Yan, wag yung kalimutang i-share din sa ating mga kapwa grade 9 students. And then we have here, x is greater than or equal to positive 2. Dapat hindi tayo mag-overlap dyan. Ayan. So, lagyan natin ng ibang color. Okay, mula dito, color ko ha, para hindi mag-overlap. Papunta doon. Yan. So, ibig sabihin ng arrow, going to positive infinity hanggang walang hanggan, no? Dapat positive. Ayan. So, iti-test natin yung tatlong regions na yan. Alin ba dyan ang kasama sa solution set? So, to see whether the inequality x squared plus 2x minus 8 greater than or equal to 0 is true or false in each region, kinakailangan nating i-test. Yan. You should have a test point from each region and substitute its value for x in the inequality. Okay. So, yan. Watching and listening from Etiulay West District. Yan. Tama. Yan. Next, to see whether the inequality, so titignan natin ha, let's start with the first region. Ano ba yung first region natin? So we have here negative infinity, between negative infinity until negative 4. Yan. So, negative infinity, lagay natin. Okay. Okay. So, x is greater than negative infinity but less than or equal to negative 4. So, yan yung ating first test point. Anong gagawin, teacher? You will find a number between this interval and then substitute its value for x in the inequality. And then, if the quadratic inequality is true, then it is included in our solution set. So, for example, pwede natin gamitin si negative 5. Okay. Say, for example, negative 5. So, I will substitute negative 5 to the quadratic inequality. Ayan, sabi nga ni Sarah Jane, nakukuha na talaga nila. Pero para naman sa iba at maintindihan nila kung paano gawin ito. So, for our first interval, let's substitute negative 5 square plus 2 times negative 5 Yan. Minus 8 greater than or equal to 0. Now, negative 5, square of negative 5 is positive 25. Positive 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. Minus 8 greater than or equal to 0. So as you can see, 25 minus 10 is 15. Minus 8, that is 7, right? Okay. So is the statement here true? Yes, it is true. So if that is true, then therefore, it is included. So ibig sabihin, kasama to. Wag kalimutan na, kasama pala itong first interval. Ayan. Next. Let's go to the second interval. Say for example, 0. Alam niyo, ang pinakamadaling i-substitute 0. Di ba? Bakit kayo? Baka mamaya may hugot kayo. Wait lang ha, pag-aralan muna natin to. Mas madaling i-substitute si 0. Okay. Nandito na tayo sa second interval. So we have here 0 square plus 2 times 0 minus 8 greater than or equal to 0. Okay, the square of 0, 0. 2 times 0, that's still 0. And then minus 8 greater than or equal to 0. So as we can see, we can cancel the 0 already. 0 plus 0 is nothing. So we have here negative 8 greater than or equal to 0. Now, is the statement true? Tama ba yung statement? Hello, watching from Kalayaan National High School, grade 9 Magnesium. Hello po, Mika Ella. Yan, tama ba yan? No, it's not true. Negative 8 is never greater than or equal to 0. Because it is less than, right? It is supposed to be less than 0. So this statement is wrong. And so ibig sabihin, hindi included yung middle, no? Yung ating second interval. Ngayon, tignan natin yung third interval. Yan. So, in the third interval, pwede nating include si 3, si 4, and then si 5. So, say for example, we include 3. We use 3. Okay, let's substitute. So, 3 square plus 2 times 3 minus 8 greater than or equal to 0. Square of 3, that's 9. 2 times 3, that's 6. Minus 8 greater than or equal to 0. So, always remember, you have to review the PEMDAS because in PEMDAS, you go from left to right. So, dapat laging left to right. If it's only addition and subtraction, you go from left to right. So, 9 plus 6, 15. Minus 8, that is 7. So, is the statement true or false? That is true. So, it means that, anong ibig sabihin yan? Ibig sabihin, yung first interval at yung last interval o yung third interval ay included sa ating solution set. Ayan. Diba? So, tandaan ha, we will not include the middle one, no? The second interval. So, anong ating solution set? Pwede nating sabihin, dahil patungo naman from negative 4, papuntang negative infinity, walang hanggang negatives. We start with positive 2 and then walang hanggang positives. So, ibig sabihin, pwede nating sabihin x is less than or equal to negative 4. Okay? Or x is greater than or equal to positive 2. Ayan. So, ganun lamang. So, the solution set, as you can see, x is less than or equal to negative 4 or x is greater than or equal to positive 2. Yan. Very good. Ang galing naman. May nakalagay. Meron ditong nakapaglagay ng greater than, less than, or equal to negative 4, no? Ayan. Sabi ni Sarah Jane, long press mo lang po. Yan. Very good. Princess. Okay. Alexander. Yan. Okay. Great job ang ating mga cuties. So, inuulit natin na paki-share sa ating mga grade 9 classmates. Alright. Para naman sa ating second example, tawagin naman natin si Fairy Godmother. Hello, Fairy Godmother. Yan. Tingnan nga natin for the next example. Okay. So, inuulit natin ha. Tandaan, ang first step, you can solve it using concept of solving quadratic equation. You have to make test points and identify your solution set, which includes in the solution set. Ayan. Alright, so tawagin nga natin si Tutor Janet. Okay, ang ating fairy godmother. Hello, fairy godmother.
Ayan, nakapasok na pala ako. Magandang hapon sa iyo, Math Diwata Tutor Angenique. So for our second example, no, nung finding the solution of a quadratic inequality, meron naman tayo this time, x squared minus 9 is less than or equal to 0. So, paano kaya ang ating magiging graph at magiging solution set? So, ayan, pinakita na ni tutor. So, pwede natin yung, kagaya ng sinabi natin sa number 1, we will just apply kung ano yung natutunan natin sa solving quadratic equation. So, pwede siyang extracting square root, pwede siyang factoring, no? So, in the case of x squared minus 9, we can factor it as the sum and the difference of two terms. So, makita natin isang binomial na separated by plus sign, and then we have the second factor is separated naman by the minus sign. So we have x plus 3 times the quantity, or the quantity of x plus 3 rather, times the quantity x minus 3. So, after we factor, so nakita natin, isosolve na natin yung resulting equations by the zero product property. So equating both factors to 0, meron na tayong dalawang linear equations na x plus 3 equals 0, sa kabila naman, x minus 3 equals 0. Thereby, magkakaroon tayo ng magkaibang sign lang. No? Same number, but one is positive, the other is negative. So, therefore, the solutions ng ating quadratic equation ay x equals positive 3 and negative 3. Ayan. So, yun yung step 1. So, ano yung step 2? Sabi ni Tutor Angenique, ng ating Math Diwata Tutor, na napakaganda as always, ayan, ay kailangan nating mag-identify ano yung mga intervals, no? By plotting our critical points, negative 3 and positive 3, what are the different regions or intervals na na-form nung ating critical points na negative 3 and positive 3. So, saan nanggaling yung critical points uli? So, doon sa ating solutions of the related quadratic equation na x squared minus 9 equals 0. Ayan, na-plot na siya dyan. So, positive 3 and negative 3. Ayan, so may negative 3 tayo dito. Sa kabila is positive 3. So, next, kailangan na natin ngayong pumili ng mga test point. Okay, so pipili tayo ng test point wherein manggagaling yung tatlong test points na yon will come respectively doon sa first interval, yun ng from negative, or rather, from negative 3 to the left, or negative infinity hanggang negative 3. And then the second interval, yung kinulayan kanina ni Tutor Angenique ng kulay blue, no? Yung nasa gitna, no? In this case kasi talagang gitnang-gitna yung ating yung ating interval na tatawagin nating second interval, which is between negative 3 and positive 3. And of course, ang ating last interval will be from 3 hanggang positive infinity. Ayan. So, ngayon, papakita na lang namin ni Tutor Angenique. So, kasi nakita natin, no, yung sign natin kanina, in fact, napansin mo, Tutor, ang bilis ng mga natin, ng mga students natin. No,
Yeah.
Nakita na agad nila yung yung pattern kasi nga nung tinry nila na i-check agad yung dalawang opposite rays, nag-positive yung mga result, no? The inequality form a true statement. Ngayon, meron tayong number 2 yan, Tutor, no? X squared minus 9 is less than or equal to 0. So, meaning we're looking for values na ang ating magiging sagot ay negative or 0. So, ano ang ating pipilian? So, let's say, sabi natin, total kasama yung 0 sa ating interval na i-check na, yung nasa gitna, let's choose 0 as our test point. Ayan, kasi sabi ni tutor talaga naman, I agree with that. Napakadaling i-check or i-test yung 0. Walang hugot yun. Madali lang talagang i-test si 0. Ayan. So, 0 tayo. Okay, yan. So, tutor, pasulat nga po, 0 squared minus 9, is that less than or equal to 0? Okay, so of course, 0 squared, wala na siya, 0 out na. Negative 9 is less than or equal to 0. So, which is, of course, a true statement. So, negative 9 is, of course, negative. Yun yung ini-imply ng less than 0. So, what is our conclusion now? For number 2, na x squared minus 9 is less than 0, we just write the solution set first. So, the solution set would be, ayan, x such that x is, yun nga, yung values na yun. Hindi kasi natin pwedeng gamitin yung between, no? Kasi kasama yung mga critical points. So, dalawang conjunction siya this time. So, negative x is greater than or equal to negative 3 and x is less than or equal to 3. Na pwede nating in symbols, no, ganyan lang siya kadali. X such that x is negative 3 is less than or equal to x, but x is less than or equal to 3. Okay, tutor. So, let's, may mga comments ba sila? May mga nagre-react ba
Yes,
doon,
basahin
no?
ko lang, tutor. So, ang galing-galing, no? Actually, may binibigay na tip itong ating parang
Ayan,
pwede na natin
oo.
gawing si Alexander, tuti of
Oo,
the
pwede
whole
natin yan makasama, no, sa stream
quarter.
natin, no? Ang dami
Yeah,
niyang mga
quarter
tips.
1. So, tama, yes. It might be kapag halimbawa greater than or equal to, it might be there are 2 branches, and then if it's less than or equal to, there is just one brand, or ibig sabihin nun, in
Isang
one
segment
form lang
lang, oo.
siya, isang segment. Yan. So, very good ang ating mga students. Kaya nga, sabi ko sa inyo, pwedeng please like and share natin. I-share natin
Oo,
sa ating
para
mga katukayo. Yan. Yan, Tutor
okay.
Janet. So, mag-problem solving naman tayo.
Yes. So, just like yung previous episode natin, no, we always highlight yung application ng mga topics natin sa grade 9 by use of problems, word problems. So, sabi ni Tutor Angelique, actually marami yan. Pwede tayo ng financial literacy. So, pwede rin yan sa physics, sa trajectory. So, ang napili po namin yung simple muna na problem, no? Kasi I borrowed this problem from the module ng aming division. So, sabi dito, Mr. Paz predicted that the number of mango trees, N, so yung number of mango trees is represented by N, planted in a farm could yield N squared minus 40N. So the algebraic expression, N squared minus 40N, yun yung magiging yield ng N mango trees. Okay, per year. Kasi seasonal yata ang mga mangoes, no? Kaya hindi natin, masarap yan sa Gimaras, no? Masarap yan pag May, no? Mangoes
Yes.
per year. Now, he planned to produce at least 500 mangoes next year. So, si Mr. Paz, yung farm niya, by means of researching, nalaman niya na merong pattern, no? N squared minus 40N, yung yield for a year. So, ang kailangan niya for the coming year, 2022, so syempre, nagpo-project na sila, getting ready for 2022, kailangan daw 500, ano ba 500? 500 mangoes next year. Okay. So, ang tanong, so dalawang question to, subtask kasi to tutor. So, una muna, hanapin natin yung mathematical sentence that would represent the possible number of mango trees that Mr. Paz must have in his farm para ma-achieve niya yung goal na 500 mangoes. Okay. So, this problem involves quadratic inequality. Bakit? Kasi nga, hinahanapan natin ng solution set. So, meaning hindi lang, unlike sa quadratic equation na normally isa lang ang kailangan nating sagot, no? Especially that it's a real-life problem, so we always delve into the positive value for the variable. So, dito, this is a possible set of values that will help him achieve yung kanyang goal na minimum. Okay, so pinapasok ko na
Yes.
tutor yung word na at least. So pwede natin siyang, yan, nag-prepare na ako dito. At least is always associated with minimum. So hinahanap natin lagi yung minimum value. Okay? So kaya pansinin niyo pag minimum, ano bang English word for minimum tutor? Meron
Yan,
ba? Kasi
ayan. Sa Tagalog, tutor,
sa
no?
Tagalog, para mas maintindihan.
Pinakamaliit. Yan.
Okay, pinakamaliit. So, hindi pwedeng bababa doon. So, 'di ba? Kaya gumamit tayo ng symbol na greater than or equal to. So, pag at least you are looking for the minimum number of trees that Mr. Pass would have to include dun sa kanyang or itanim dun sa kanyang farm. Ayan. Kaya ang naging quadratic inequality natin, working quadratic inequality is ibinabalang natin yung formula na n squared minus 40n and place the correct inequality symbol greater than or equal to the least na kailangan, which is 500. Ayan. So, tingnan na natin, tutor, no? Ano ba yung next question? Ayan, meron palang Q, no? Sabi dyan, pwede naman yung n squared minus 40n is less than or equal to 500. But since meron tayong follow-up question, we can actually rewrite our working inequality na n squared minus 40n is greater than or equal to 500 into the standard form. So, yung binigay ni Tutor Angenic sa text box kanina, yung text box kanina, no? Text box. Text box kanina na merong less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. So, kailangan, kung isosolve natin siya, normally, ang go-to naman natin ay factoring. So, we have to write it into that form. So, pwede nating sabihin na another way to write n squared minus 40n is greater than or equal to 500 is yung nakikita nyo doon sa ilalim. No, n squared minus 40n is minus 500 is greater than or equal to 0. Ayan, nagmamadali na kami ni tutor. Ayan, next. Ano sunod, tutor?
Yan.
So, may follow-up question.
Ayan.
No? Ngayon, alam na natin. Sige, tutor, pakibasa nga yung next question.
Ayan. So, alam na po natin yung ating mathematical sentence. Okay. Then, let's solve. How many mango trees? So, Mr. Pass predicted that the number of mango trees and planted in a farm could yield n squared minus 40n mangoes per year. He planned to produce at least 500 mangoes next year. So, inulit natin, n squared minus 40n, okay, minus 500 is greater than or equal to
kasi at
0.
least.
Yan. So, how many mango trees? So, kailangan na nating isolve. Ilan kaya?
Yes.
Ayan. Na hindi bababa sa 500. So, solving the inequality, katulad po ng ginawa natin kanina.
Yes.
So, tutor, ang ginawa, let's get the values
critical
of
point.
x. Okay, critical points using solving the quadratic equation. Yan. So, we have here n squared minus 40n minus 500 equals 0. Actually, ang bilis na tutor, di ba? Kasi 500, no?
Ang daling i-factor.
Ang galing i-factor. So, we have here 50. So, dahil negative 500, tapos negative yung gitna.
Magkaiba yung sign, no?
Yes. So, we have here negative 50 times positive
10.
Okay. Ayan.
So manipulating, no? Makukuha natin, tutor. Basahin ko na, tutor, na nandiyan na. Nakita nila na meron tayong dalawang critical points. So, one is positive, which is 50, and the other is n equals negative 10. So, sabi natin, ano bang nire-represent ng n? So, it represent the number of mango trees doon sa problem. So, number. So, should we accept the solution? That would include negative 10, no? Meaning from negative infinity hanggang sa negative 10. Isasama kaya natin yung tutor? Okay, tingnan natin sa next slide, no? Anong dapat lang ang ating, so sabi nakuha ni Alexander yung tamang factor.
Yes, very good.
Pero ginamit niya x. So, of course, you have the freedom to use the variable naman na x. Okay. Ayan na, tutor.
Okay.
So, anong sabi natin dyan?
So, we have here, actually, the value of n is 50 and negative 10.
Yes.
However, disregarding the interval that includes negative, bakit nga ba dinidisregard natin yung negative values? So, the solution will be n greater than or equal to 50 kasi nga, wala namang negative na
Mm-mm.
trees, di ba? Number of
Mm-mm.
trees. Wala namang negative number of
So,
trees.
dapat counting numbers lang, no? Starting from
Yes.
50, 51, and so on. So, what is our
Okay.
answer sentence? So, syempre, problem solving yan. So, I think meron tayong, tandang-tanda ko yan, meron tayong pinupuri na tutor, no? Parang kapartner, katandem yun ni Alexander. Si
Oo nga,
Alexandra, yung
nawawala si
pag
Alexandra.
sumagot talagang complete sentence. Therefore, Mr. Paz, should plant at least 50 trees. Okay, yan yung ating final answer. Oo, sabi
Alright.
nga ni Alexander, wala naman pong sense na isagot mo ang negative 10 apples ang sagot o magtanim ka ng negative 10. So, kailangan positive lang. Sige, tutor. Ayan.
Ayan. Okay, so tutor, ano na tayo? Evaluation para sa
Yes.
ating mga math terrific learners. Ilagay ang number at yung letter sa ating comment section para ma-check. Dahil magbibigay na kami ng duty of the ilang quarters na yung utang natin, no?
Ilang weeks na tutor, no? Kasi talaga naman.
Ilang weeks na
Kailangan,
pala.
kailangan talaga nating makita yung consistency. I think towards nasa middle na tayo ng quarter, pwede na talaga nating ma-identify, no? Ating talagang pag-iusapang mabuti yan.
Opo. Alright, sige, Tutor Janet, basahin ko na yung number 1.
Yes,
So for
okay.
our evaluation, number 1, ilagay ang sagot, number 1, tapos yung letter ng sagot. Choose the letter that corresponds to the choice which you think best answers the question. Number 1, which of the following problems models a quadratic inequality? Okay, is it letter A? The length of a wall is 8 more than the width. Find dimensions which will ensure that the area is less than 40 square meters. Letter B, the perimeter of a square is 4S. If its area is 64 square units, how long is a side of the square? Or letter C, the cost of each pen is 8 pesos and 50 centavos. How many pens can be bought by? Ayan, 850
pesos.
Okay, so at the count of 5, tignan natin. May sumagot
Although may
na, tutor.
nagsasagot na tutor, no? Talaga naman nakakatuwa ang ating mga grade 9 tuties. Alam ko grade 9 yan si Isabella. Oo.
Yan.
Ayan. Pati
Sige,
si
mag-countdown na
Irvin
ako,
Green.
tutor.
Oo. 5. Ayan, sige.
5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Ayan, humabol si Crystal, tsaka si Princess.
Ayan,
humabol din si Hananika. At
ayan, yung mga estudyante ko din,
nakakatuwa,
tutor.
no? Puro magagaling talaga ang mga taga Deparo High School, Deparo High School. Siyempre,
Yes.
ikaw ang tutor nila, ikaw rin ang teacher nila talaga naman.
Yan. From where kaya din yung iba? Sila Alexander. So, ang tamang sagot, tama po. It's letter A. Ayan. Sige po, next na tayo agad. Tutor Janet?
Okay. So, dito naman sa number 2, kung kanina verbal, hinanap mo yung concept ng quadratic inequality sa number 2, which of the following actual mathematical sentences is an example of a quadratic inequality? So, is it A, 14 is equal to B times the quantity 2B minus 3? Or is it B, no? Dalawang variable, 2A plus 3B is less than 10? Or is it C, dalawang binomial, 2b plus 4 or the quantity 2b plus 4 times the quantity b plus 2 is equal to 7 squared. So quadratic, 7 squared. And then the last letter is D, b squared minus 2b all over 2 is less than or equal to 40. Ayan, ang bilis ni Ignacio. Okay.
Alright, meron na rin po silang sagot, tutor.
Si Ma'am Zara Jane, no? Tinatry ko rin yung binigay na tip ni Ma'am Sarah Jane. Pwede pala yun, maglalagay ka ng may bar sa ilalim by just long press.
Okay. Ayan po. So, actually, marami nang sumasagot. Si Princess Divine, Angela, Rafael. Very good. Isabella. Tignan natin. Letter D. Hindi na ako nag-count. Pero ayan, nagmamadali na tayo, tutor.
Kasi talaga naman nag-agree silang lahat. So, malinaw na achieve natin yung first objective na i-illustrate na nila talaga alin sa mga yan ang quadratic inequality. Okay, next
Alright.
po.
Okay, number 3. A rectangular box is filled with dice. Each die has a volume of 1 cubic centimeters. 1 cubic centimeter. The length of the box is 3 centimeter greater than its width, and its height is 5 centimeter. Suppose the box holds at most 140 dice. Which of the following inequalities would represent the formula to find possible lengths and widths for this box in simplest form? In simplest
Okay.
form, no, Tutor
O,
Janet?
tsaka careful sila dun sa gagamitin nila kung less than or equal to ba or greater than or equal to. Kasi yan, ina-highlight na ni tutor, at most. So, we're looking for maximum. So, pag sinabing maximum, baliktad yan nung kanina, no? Kanina yung minimum, hindi bababa. Ito naman, hindi lalampas. Okay, dapat ang ma-occupy na space ay hindi lalampas sa 140 dice. Okay. So, pero ang tinatanong kasi ay in simplest form. Ayan, sa number 3, nagsusolve pa sila kasi ilo-lowest term nila yung kanilang quadratic inequality sa number 3, no? Pero ayan, ang bilis na naman ni Ignacio. Siya yung mukhang
Yeah.
talagang nagsusolve, may hawak siyang pen and paper. Although hindi
Yan,
naman talaga
Hana
mahabang
Nika.
solve, no? Ayan,
Yes po.
marami na
Ayan,
sila.
nakikilala ko na din yung mga ibang student, Tutor Janet.
Oo.
Okay. From,
Oo.
from West District, yon. And then,
Echage, no?
Kalayaan, ayun, West Echage District. And then, Deparo High School. Si Crystal
Yes.
May at saka si Hana Nika. Ayan, kabisado ka na ang ating mga
Opo.
students. Okay, sige po, Tutor Janet. 5,
So, ang tamang sagot, ayan, 5, 4,
3,
3, 2,
2, 1.
ayan,
Letter
nakuha na naman
E.
nila. Ang galing. So,
Very good.
walang nag-doubt dun sa sagot nila, no? Kasi kanina sa number 2 may nagsabing C or D, pero isa lang po yung tamang sagot sa number 2. So, kagaya dito, D lang ang tamang sagot. Ayan.
Okay, next na po
Medyo
tayo,
mahaba-haba
number
yung
4.
number 4. Sa akin na to, tutor, no?
Okay po.
Ang haba. Kian, yan, si Crush Kian, shot an arrow straight upward with an initial velocity of 96 meter per second from an altitude of 20 meters. If the acceleration due to gravity in meter per second square is 16, so this is a constant, no, 16 yata, depende sa unit, merong 9.8, merong 16. So 16, and 1 is to find the time that elapsed after it was released, shall it reach a height of more than 100 meter per second. Which of the following mathematical sentences models this? Okay, so kung mapapansin ninyo, meron tayong iba-ibang klase ng mathematical sentences sa choices. Pero take note, no, kailangan tama yung ating pagpa-plug in because we're following a formula sa trajectory, no? Alam ko kung ang ating direct ay nakikinig sa atin, alam niya yung
Yes,
equation na yan,
physics.
no? So physics, negative 1/2, depende sa sa angle, negative 1/2 VT squared plus V sub OT plus the initial height. So H sub O is the initial height. So alin dyan yung tamang equation or inequality? Okay, so sabi, what mathematical sentence model this? Okay, letter A, 16t squared minus 96t plus 20 is greater than 100. Or is it B, negative 16t squared plus 96t plus 20 is greater than or equal to 100? Or C, negative 16t squared plus 96t plus 20 is greater than 100. So, ang pagkakaiba ng B sa C, ito ay may or equal to. Sa letter C, negative 16t squared plus 96t plus 20 is greater than 100 lang. And of course, letter D is negative 16t squared plus 16t is equal to 120. So, i-highlight natin, tutor, more than, no?
Okay.
Sabi dyan, no? Okay, dapat
Ayan.
more than 100 meter per second.
Okay, ito po.
So, ano ang
Ayan.
tamang? Following that formula for physics, no? Negative 16t squared. Negative 16t t squared is a constant due to gravity plus initial velocity plus initial height should be more than 100 meter per second. Ayan. So, may mga sumasagot pa rin sa number 3, no? Pero sa number 4, wala
4
pa
po tayo.
Oo, no? Ayan,
Ayan,
nag-fusion
baka
kasi
nagkakamali lang po sila ng number.
Mm-mm.
So, number 4
Mm-mm.
po tayo.
Oo, tingnan po
Okay.
natin, no? Okay, so letter C sabi ni Ma'am Zara Jane. Okay. Si Isabella ang
So,
sabi
count
niya
na
A.
tayo.
Oo,
Ayan. Alright, sige, tutor, count na po tayo.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, ang tamang sagot po ay letter C na bigay ni Ma'am Zara Jane. Kasi nga po, ito ay negative. So, negative talaga. You will have to follow the formula. No? So, negative 16t squared plus plug in lang 96 yung initial velocity times t plus 20 is greater than 100. That is the correct quadratic inequality, or that's the correct mathematical sentence that will explain the problem. Okay, let's go to the last question, tutor.
Yes,
Number,
ito na,
ayan.
last na.
Nga po.
Which dimension should a rectangular field that can be enclosed with 100 meters of wire must have if the goal is to have the optimum area? Ano ibig sabihin ng optimum area? Ayan.
Ma-maximize, no?
Yan.
Oo.
Tama, tutor. So, actually, maraming ways to solve this one. Katulad nung
Pwede
kaninang
yan sa
ginawa
function.
namin.
Oo.
Yes.
Ang dami.
Pero actually,
Tapos
yung iba
naman
naman,
talaga,
tutor, no? Kumbaga, merong trial and error na.
Oo,
Pwede naman
tama.
po yun.
Or actually, no, so may mga talagang mga fast learner tayo, alam na agad nila ano kayang klaseng figure or di pala figure, ano kayang klaseng shape
Visualize
ang
na.
oo. Para yan ay ma-maximize. Yung 100 meters. Okay. So, siguro tutor, no? Kasi ituturo rin natin yan pagdating natin ng quadratic function, no? Para magandang problem na isosolve din natin yung mga ganyan. May ganong case na mina-maximize or you're finding the maximum, no? So, pakita na natin yung tamang sagot.
Okay, it's
Oo.
letter B.
Okay.
Ayan.
So, 625 square meter ang magiging maximum area because yun ay pag-aaralan nga natin, no? Hanging muna tayo doon. Ay, nagsagot naman si Isabella May. Sabi niya, okay, humabol sila. So, tutor, ayan, congratulate natin ang ating mga active grade 9 tuties, pati na rin si Ma'am Sarah Jane, no, nakikisali sa ating pagsagot. No?
Ayan,
Maraming
so,
salamat po.
okay, thank you so much sa ating mga Math Terrific 9 students. Inulit po namin, every Friday ang ating Matalino Day, 3 p.m. to 3:40 p.m. So tutukan lamang po tayo sa DepEd EdTech Unit. Ayan, maraming salamat po. Thank you so much. So abangan
Next
po
po,
natin si Tutor, sila Tutor
Roel.
Abhil, and
Opo.
Tutor Ruel. Ayan.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Ang husay naman! Natapos mo ang iyong tutorial session kasama ang iyong mahusay na ETUlay tutor. May bago ka bang natutuhan? I-share na yan gamit ang hashtag #ETUlayLevelUp. Huwag aalis ha dahil may susunod pang programa na pwede mo ring panoorin at salihan dahil naghihintay na ang iyong mga tutors. Happy learning dito sa ETUlay!